began there to exhort his warriors. Byrhtnoth rode and instructed. He directed the warriors how they should stand and keep their station, and bade them hold their shields upright firmly with their hands and be not afraid. When he had fairly exhorted those people, then he alighted with his men where he best wished, where he knew his most trusty household troops were. Then the messenger of the Vikings stood on the shore, called out fiercely, spoke with words. He boastfully announced to the Earl where he stood on the bank the message of the seafarers.
Bold seamen have sent me to thee, bade me say to thee that thou mayest quickly send rings as a defence, and it is better for you that ye should avert with tribute this rush of spears than that we, so hardy, should deal out battle. We need not destroy each other, if ye will consent to that. We will establish a truce with that gold. If thou, who art mightiest here, wilt agree to disband thy men, wilt give to the seamen at their own judgment money for peace and accept a truce from us, we are willing to embark with that tribute, to go to sea, and keep peace with you.
Byrhtnoth spoke. He grasped the shield. He brandished the slender spear of ash. He uttered words, angry and resolute. He gave him answer.
Dost thou hear, seafarer, what this people say? They will give you darts for tribute, poisonous spears and ancient swords, gear which will profit you not in the fight. Messenger of the seamen, take word back again. Say to thy people far more hateful tidings, that here stands a noble earl with his troop, who will defend this land, the home of Aethelred, my prince, the people, and the ground. The heathen shall fall in the battle. It seems to me too shameful that you should embark with your tribute with impunity, now that you have come thus far hither to our land. Nor shall you win treasures so lightly. Point and edge shall reconcile us first, grim battle play ere we yield tribute.
Then he commanded shields to be borne, the warriors to go, so that they all stood on the river bank. One troop could not come at the other there by reason of the water. There the flood came flowing after the ebb tide. The streams ran together. They were impatient to clash their spears. There they stood in array beside the stream of Panta, the battle line of the East Saxons and the ship army. Nor could one of them injure the other, unless anyone received death from the arrow's flight. The tide went out. The pirates stood ready, many Vikings eager for battle. Then the protector of heroes commanded a warrior, stern in fight, to hold the bridge. He was called Wulfstan, bold among his race. He was the son of Keola, who with his spear struck the first man who there most boldly stepped upon the bridge. There stood with Wulfstan warriors unafraid, Aelfira and Magnus, two brave men. They would not take to flight at the ford, but they firmly kept guard against the foe as long as they could wield weapons. And they beheld that, and clearly saw that they found the guardians of the bridge fierce there. The hostile strangers began then to practice deceit. They asked to be allowed to approach, to get over the ford, to lead their soldiers. Then the Earl began in his pride to yield the hateful people too much land. Then the son of Byrhtnoth began to call over the cold water. The warriors listened.
Now is space granted to you. Come hither to us quickly, warriors to the battle. God alone can tell who will hold the place of battle.
Then the slaughterous wolves, the horde of Vikings, passed west over Panta. They cared not for the water. The seamen carried torches to land. There Byrhtnoth stood ready with his warriors to oppose the enemy. He commanded the warheads to be made with shields, and the troop to hold out stoutly against the foes. Then was the fight near, glory in battle. The time had come when doomed men must needs fall there. then clamor arose. Ravens wheeled, the eagle greedy for carrion. There was shouting on earth.
Then they let the spears, hard as a file, go from their hands. Bows were busy, shield received point. Bitter was the rush of battle. Wulfmare was wounded. He, the kinsman of Byrhtnoth, his sister's son, chose a bed of slaughter. He was sorely stricken with swords. The brave warriors stood firm in battle. Eagerly they considered who there could first mortally wound a fated man with a spear. The slain fell to the earth. They stood steadfast. Byrhtnoth incited them. He bade each warrior give thought to war, who would win glory against the Danes. Then he who was hardy in battle advanced. Thus the Earl went resolute to the churl. Each of them planned evil to the other. Then the seafarer sent a spear southern make, so that the Lord of Warriors was wounded. He thrust then with the shield, so that the shaft burst, and sprang back again. The warrior was enraged. With a spear he pierced the proud Viking who gave him the wound. The warrior was skillful. He let his lance go through the man's neck. His hand guided it so that he reached the life of his sudden enemy. Then hastily he darted another, so that the corselet burst. He was wounded in the breast through the coat of ringmail. The poisonous spear stood at his heart. Then one of the warriors let fly a javelin from his hand, from his fist, so that it went forth through the noble Thane of Aethelred. By his side stood a youthful warrior. Full boldly he, the young Wulfmare, plucked the bloody spear from the warrior. He let the exceeding hard spear go forth again. The point went in, so that he who erstwhile had sorely smitten his prince lay on the ground. The Earl was the gladder. Then the brave man laughed, gave thanks to God for that day's work which the Lord had granted him. Then a warrior went armed to the Earl. He was minded to seize the bracelets of the man, the armor and rings and ornamented sword. Then Byrhtnoth drew the sword from the sheath, broad and gleaming edged, and struck at the corselet. One of the seafarers hit at him too quickly, and destroyed the Earl's arm. Then the sword with golden hilt fell to the ground, nor could he hold the hard brand, wield the weapon. Then the old warrior yet spoke these words, encouraged the fighters, bade the valiant comrades go forth, nor could he then longer stand firm on his feet. He looked to heaven.
I thank thee, O Lord of the peoples, for all those joys which I have known in the world. Now, gracious Lord, I have most need that thou shouldst grant good to my spirit, that my soul may journey to thee, may pass in peace into thy keeping. Prince of angels, I entreat thee that devils may not do it despite.
Then the heathen men hewed him, and both the men who stood by him, Byrhtnoth and Wulfmare, were laid low. Then they gave up their lives by the side of their prince. Then they who were not minded to be there retired from the battle. There the sons of Order were the first in flight. Godric fled from the battle and left the valiant one who had often given him many a steed. He leaped on the horse which his lord had owned, on the trappings as was not right, and both his brothers, Godric and Godrig, galloped with him. They cared not for war, but they turned from the fight and sought the wood, and more men than was at all fitting.
Thus erstwhile Offa once said to him in the meeting place, when he held assembly, that many spoke bravely there, who would not endure in stress. Then the people's prince had fallen, Aethelred's earl. All of the hearth companions saw that their lord was laid low. Then proud Thane's brave men went forth there, eagerly hastened.
Thus the son of Aelfric urged them on, a warrior young in years. He uttered words, Aelfwine spoke then, boldly he said,
Remember the times when often we spoke at the mead drinking, when on the bench we uttered boasting, heroes in hall about hard strife. Now he who is brave may show it in the test. I will make known my lineage to all, that I was of a mighty race among the Mercians. My old father was called Ilhelm, a wise alderman, prosperous in the world. Thanes shall not reproach me among the people, that I wish to leave this army to seek my home, now that my prince lies low, hewn down in battle. That is the greatest of griefs to me. He was both my kinsman and my lord.
Then he went forth, he forgot not the feud. He smote one pirate in the host with spear, so that he lay on the earth, slain by his weapon. Then he began to admonish his friends, companions, and comrades, that they should go forth. Offa spoke, he shook the spear shaft.
Lo, thou, Elfwine, hast admonished all the Thanes as is needed. Now that our prince lies low, the Earl on the earth, it is a task of us all that each should exhort the other warrior to fight whilst he can grasp and hold a weapon, a hard brand, a spear, and a good sword. Godric, the cowardly son of Arda, has betrayed us all. Very many men believed when he rode on a horse on the proud steed that it was our lord. Wherefore here on the field the army was divided, the shield array broken. May his enterprise fail for putting so many men to flight here.
Then there was breaking of shields, the seamen advanced, enraged by war. Often the spear pierced the body of a fated man. Byrhtnoth spoke, he grasped his shield, he was an old companion. He shook his ash spear, full boldly he exhorted the warriors.
Thought shall be the harder, heart the keener, courage the greater, as our might lessens.